Roll that beautiful tank footage. The tank is a symbol of immense power. One firing of that cannon can make its mark on anything. You say you can't see it, why it's in front of you. The Miami Dolphins. There is no hiding what they are trying to accomplish. They are tanking. Blatantly so. Not much needs to be explained on that front. You'd expect me to laugh at them for it, but I have no qualms with Miami tanking. They should have been doing this years ago. The issue with this endeavor is that they are more than likely going to fail, for a variety of reasons. Let's dig on this a bit. A tank in the NFL. It's not as easy as you would think. When you ponder such an endeavor, one team comes to mind immediately. The Philadelphia 76ers. The goal of the process was to strip everything down to the core in order to build a championship team for years to come. You will point to their success in becoming a playoff contender over this time, championship glory still to be determined. Here's my issue with that comparison. In the NBA, you only need 2 or 3 quality players to make yourself into a formidable team. In football, you need 22, at minimum. The NFL is full of so many more moving parts that require constant attention. This requires more intricate tactics and a cohesive team structure. Having one position as a glaring weakness may be the line between victory and defeat. That's not even getting into the increased risk of injury due to the contact nature of the sport. You could have everything lined up perfectly and then poof, here's a devastating injury to a key player that ends your season. It's not to say that a tank can't be done in this league. There is one notable instance where blatantly tanking has led to a dynasty. The Dallas Cowboys. Take yourself back to the late 1980s. A less glossy-eyed Jerry Jones decided to force his own stamp on this downtrodden team. The Cowboys have been through years of decline since their 70s heyday, and the time was now for a complete blow-up. A lot of unpopular moves were made. The fervor when firing the legendary Tom Landry had people fuming across the nation. They dismantled nearly everything, culminating in the infamous Herschel Walker trade. They got a bunch of players back in the deal, but they never played them. Dallas was thinking long-range game with the conditional picks. Even for the luck of that trade, there was significant wheeling and dealing with those returns as well. It took not only great negotiating skill, but a keen eye for talent. I don't have to go further on the results of what happened there. Nowadays, there wouldn't be a team so desperate as to trade everything for a running back, but Miami did have some pieces to trade off. The problem is this. For the quality haul of picks they got, what did they truly give up? There's a reason why Houston traded 2 first-rounders and a second for Laramie Tunsil. Premium blindside blockers don't grow on trees. It's incredibly high risk of Houston to do this, especially since the last time they traded top picks burned them considerably. But with how both Tunsil is playing and how he's seen as a leader, they may have gotten their left tackle for a decade. Even more questionable after the fact is Minkah Fitzpatrick. In Miami, he never got going since they kept jerking him around from position to position. Once he got to Pittsburgh, he emerged as a game changer overnight. Amazing what can happen when you keep talent where they feel the most comfortable playing. You also have to consider Minkah is a second-year pro, so there were 4 years of control left. Trading him for a first-round pick was seen as a good move at the time, but considering the Steelers' change in fortunes, it may not have been enough. Hell, even look at Ryan Tannehill. In Miami, he'd show flashes of potential, but could never realize it due to the team structure and injuries. Fast forward to Tennessee, and he's all but saved their season. He may even end up being a long-term option. It's gone so well for him. Kenyon Drake has looked a lot better since moving to Arizona. It just keeps going on and on. The problem with Miami has been the same thing for years. Structure. To be honest, they haven't had a consistently good coach since Dave Wanstead? Even then, he had significant flaws that held the team back. It's been a constant cycle of futility with mediocrity as its ceiling. Once in a while, they make the playoffs, be it due to an easy schedule or the deck breaking out in their favor. Their reward has always been getting their asses beaten into the ground by a real team. Thus is why their tanking should be embraced. The only thing is that players and coaches aren't fond of tanking. They want to perform to keep or gain a new job. Deliberately losing doesn't help their cause, so why should Brian Flores go along with it? He's come from New England, a culture of winning and championships. If they truly cared about tanking, why are they starting Ryan Fitzpatrick? He's a very serviceable quarterback that can carry even the shittiest of teams to 4 or 5 wins. Yes, unfortunately, the deliberate demolition of the Dolphins has been beaten by a team that isn't even trying to lose. The Cincinnati Bengals. They are merely awful just because they have a terrible team. Injured playmakers, no defensive stars, Andy Dalton reaching his end in that city that went trend chasing for a head coach. It was just like when you went 1-15 back in 2007. That's funny, I don't remember that being brought up with a tank. Might be because you drafted an offensive tackle that only played with you for 4 years. Today the Bungles will get Joe Burrow while you probably pray for Tua. And what's to say a franchise quarterback is going to save you? You had one, remember? Dan Marino? You wasted him by failing to support him for years on end. Some franchise savior when he gets a send-off that will live in infamy. But even with all of this, that isn't the main reason why I feel the Dolphins will probably fail at this endeavor. It's the cause of most of their failures over the past 20 years. You know damn well who I'm talking about here. Stephen Ross is a boob. He's a man who has absolutely no football savvy whatsoever, and he's either refused or is too dense to adapt to the league. He's why Adam Gase was allowed to run this team into the ground. He's a main reason why no one wants to play in Miami without shitloads of cash being thrown at them. Riddle me this. If you're going to begin a total rebuild, then why the hell are you letting the same GM that's been at the helm for 4 years run it? There's being hands-off, and then there's being so aloof that you have little idea of what the hell is even going on. It's been showing in the attendance. This has been happening for years, not just now with the Tank Brigade. Miami's main hurdle isn't going to be all of the pitfalls, but their owner himself. He doesn't know when to step in and guide his men in the right direction. It's laissez-faire economics at its worst. Remember, the greatest culture change comes at the top, and it seems like Ross doesn't want to change. The one thing that always stuck with me about Ross was that he was the only owner that voted against the moves of the Chargers and Raiders. His belief is that a franchise should be loyal to the city it represents. It should be a beacon of light that their city can cherish and respect. Sure, it's noble, but what the hell have you done to inspire the fans of Miami? You've thrown money around and brought in some celebrity owners. Good job. Sadly, money can't buy you knowledge of football, or else the Dolphins would be a dynasty again. The odds are against you, Miami. Good luck.
Are watching them happen to him, but he knows he doesn't have a big play team, and Jacksonville does.
Draw play. Taylor skips 2 tackles. Right, and here we go.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Brock Marion chasing. Brock Marion still chasing. Gets help from Smith. Touchdown. No flag.